Bit of news on a Sunday night. Antonio Conte and Spurs have parted ways by mutual consent. I think it's best for both parties. Spurs can get ahead of their summer rebuild ahead of time. Conte can relax a bit. I think it's best for both ways. But let's go back probably to the start of this all. And everyone thought Conte at Spurs, this was the perfect move for everybody. Conte can get can show his ability. He left Inter after winning a title. Before that, he left Chelsea winning the title. He thought this is the perfect guy to get Spurs to win their first trophy since the League Cup in 2008, I think. And at the end of last season, it looked on its way, and everyone thought this season, myself included, thought this season Spurs are going to level up. They're going to be challenging for trophies, top four guaranteed. That's what Conte does. You know, they brought in some great players in the winter transfer window last season. Kulusevski and Bentancur, that really helped them. That front three, Kulusevski, Kane, and Son looked really, really good. Son got the golden boot. Kane was amazing, and everyone thought if you upgrade that defense, get some top quality players in there, this squad can do bits. You got the manager, just need to get a few bits in the squad, and you've done it. And what did Spurs do? They did the complete opposite in the transfer window. Everyone saw you got Lloris in goal. That's probably not the best situation, but it's not the most stressing situation. But everyone looked at the wing backs. Emerson's not great. Whether it was Sessegnon or Davies at the other wing back, Dyer at the centre back, Tanganga at centre back, Davin Sanchez centre back, not good. Midfield of Bentancur, Højbjerg, not bad. Probably add an extra one. You're decent, but centre backs, upgrade. You got a winning squad. They went about bought Richarlison. You go a bit overpriced for a backup striker, but fine. Obviously, spent the money to seal Romero from his loan. You go fine, okay, yeah. Basuma again, look quality signing. You know, he looked really good at Brighton. You thought maybe he can level that up. Jed Spence at wingback, Perisic, the other one. You know, Jed Spence had an amazing season championship. Perisic, good, experienced player, not going to play all the time. But, you know, can do bits. But long late centre back, everyone goes, that was supposed to be a big money signing, that centre back. That left centre back to replace Davies there, or that middle centre back to command the defence. They never got it. They never got it, and Conte suffered for it. This was a problem not getting a centre back because Conte's style is about helping out the weaknesses in their squad. So he saw the weaknesses in their squad was defensively. So he thought, let's just defend in numbers, and we'll, these mistakes can be covered up by other players, but they just never were because every other player kept making mistakes. So when you got, 6, 7, 8 players in your own penalty box at times, and most of them making mistakes, it led to really, really bad situations, and their attack wasn't able to bail them out. And it just led to so many times conceding multiple goals again. The defensive season has been really, really bad, and you just think if they got that top quality, defender, and look what he did at Inter Milan, look what he did at Chelsea, he could have done that with Spurs. Their attack is so good, but they never did it. But it's not just Spurs' fault in this. Conte, he didn't adapt. He kept, seeing Spurs lose in the exact same way every single week, and he never did anything about it. He never adapted from the 3 at the back. He never really adapted from the 3-4-3. He played 3-5-2 occasionally, but not that often. He never adapted. And that's a problem. And that's probably why the mutual passing ways is fine, because both sides have big problems. And now we look at Spurs now going into the end of the season, into next season. It's a pivotal point for them because Harry Kane, where's that go? Are you going to go and target a manager like Julian Nagelsmann? Are you going to completely refresh the squad in order for him to stay? Or are you going to go, Harry Kane, we'll let you go. 100 million, you can go. Other players can go as well. We'll completely rebuild and refresh this squad. We might take a hit for a couple of seasons, but in 3 seasons, we're going to completely refresh the squad and we'll be back challenging best than ever. Are they going to do that, or are they going to do what they've done the last couple of seasons? Bring in players that are good, not great, and just be around 4th, 5th, 6th, whatever. Are you going to go for the same defensive managers that you've gone for the past 3 times? Or are you going to go for the young, exciting, attacking coach like you did with Pochettino before? That you could do like the likes of Nagelsmann, likes of De Zerbi, Carrick, and others. It's a massive, massive moment in Spurs right now where they're going to go in the transfer market with the staff. It's going to be very interesting to see where they go because I can't imagine Nagelsmann really wanting to do this job. He could. If they get top 4, they're still 4th place at the end of the day. They do have some tricky fixtures. Brighton still, Newcastle, Man United, Liverpool, Brentford, but they've got some favourable fixtures left in the season. So top 4 is still a possibility. If they get top 4, Nagelsmann could be on the cards. If they, But the thing is, the way he wants to play, their squad really isn't suited to it. He's an amazing attacking coach. But defensively, they will be let down over and over again with this same defence that they keep doing. Dyer is not good enough. He's never been good enough. He's never going to be good enough. He might have purple patches for 6, 7, 8 games, but he's never going to be good enough. Ben Davies, Tanganga, Davin Sanchez, Hugo Lloris, Emerson. They're not good enough. The loss of Bentancur this season has been massive for them. What I would do with Spurs, I'll get rid of Harry Kane, I'll refresh the squad, get some young players in, use the likes of Jed Spence, and get some young players in, and maybe take the hit and move 6th or 7th in the league, but then you got a team for another 6 or 7 years after that. Rather than a team that will rely on Harry Kane that will only really have 2-3 years left at the very top, and will only want to leave if they keep losing. I don't expect them to challenge with any transfers for the top few positions next season. That's what Harry Kane probably wants. It's a big moment in Spurs. I expect Daniel Levy wanting to keep him to stay. If Premier League clubs him, I assume he'll demand 150 million. If likes of Bayern Munich or so going through, maybe it's a little bit less. But what we've seen with Spurs in the last few years, they've been really bad at transfers, and I don't really expect that to change unless, even before Petrucci, after Petrucci, they've been really bad. They've really only shopped in the Italian market in the Premier League. They haven't scoped out elsewhere. Yeah, it was best for both parties for Conte and Spurs to leave, but it wasn't all either there's faults. Mainly, I would say Spurs' fault because of the transfer window, because of what they didn't do to the squad, but also Conte because he never really adapted to the squad he had and never really adapted in his ways and never really fully committed, I think, to the project, which is kind of Spurs' fault as well, but also his fault. Every week it was so high or so low. After every win, it was ecstatic. The fans were so on board, but after every loss, he's like, "Oh, I can't do this anymore." This team. I think after that interview after Southampton, I think that was always going to be the end of the road. And it'll be interesting to see how Spurs react to this. Stellini, he had a couple good games for them against, I think it was Man City and a couple other teams, but also had a couple bad games under him. Sheffield United, I think maybe Wolves was under him as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do for the rest of the season. Could it spark something new and refresh in the squad, or could they dwindle down to maybe even 7th or 8th position? Because that's still a possibility as well this season. Yeah, Conte Spurs part ways, and it'll be interesting to see what Spurs do for the rest of the season and in the summer because it's big summer ahead.